Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is David, this is David K Reacts, and here I ramble with articulation, I hope, about a variety of different music, video and audio elements of videos that I watch on the channel. And today I'm going to be checking out a video by The Longest Johns. They're a UK folk music group I've been wanting to bring to the channel for a little while. I know they blew up with Wellerman, but have been around a lot longer than that. I know, obviously, Wellerman brought a few people to the fore when it was kicking around. But this video today is going to be a song called We All Lift Together by Keith Power, which is from the video game Warframe. And if I didn't mention it, by the way, this is video game month. All the videos I do for this month are going to be video game themed. And Warframe is a game I hadn't played until a little over a month ago. And one, I've sunk more hours into it than I would care to admit in that time. And two, this song has taken over my playlists. I will regularly flick back to it and listen to it again. It's one of those ones, you know, where you hear a piece of music and it just clicks. This clicked with me in a big way. And I'm really excited to see what The Longest Johns have done with it. This is a song by Keith Power. It's not the only time you'll hear his name this month. He is a Canadian composer. And he did music for Hawaii Five-0 and MacGyver when they were redone. So he's established. And he was the composer for Warframe. I think there's more than one. I'm sure there is, given the amount of content of Warframe there actually is. That game's been around for over 10 years at this point, and I'm only just coming to it. Mostly because it's multiplayer online, which is something I tend not to venture into. But I found the button that lets you turn that part off, so I just play it by myself, which is more my style. But this, and I'm entering spoiler territory here, if you do not want to hear the plot of this, if you think you might be about to play Warframe, this comes very early on in the game, but if you think you're about to play it, skip ahead to this timecode, and that will avoid the spoilers that are coming your way, because I am going to talk about the context of the song. It's not a big spoiler, but it is one. And honestly, discovering it by myself and coming across it and feeling the impact in the moment rather than knowing it in advance was super cool. This song is played over the introduction to one of the cities that you visit during the game, called Fortuna. It's on Venus. And when you first arrive there, rather than seeing your character straight away, you are introduced to Fortuna itself and the people who live and work there. And then your character comes in at the end of the song. And these are all indentured workers. Most of them have had multiple, this is a science fiction game, by the way, most of them have had multiple body parts replaced with mechanical elements, including, for the most part, their heads. I don't quite know how this all works. It's a little strange, but it's very cool in context. And this is a working song. And you don't sort of see that immediately. It sort of starts playing and you see one of the named characters walking through in time to the music, which is really cool. And check out the original, by the way. I'm going to link both to the original Longest Johns video and to the Warframe YouTube channel with the actual version of this playing. It's really cool. They walk in time, they take their seat, they fire up whatever the tool is they're carrying in time to the music, and then as we pan back out again, you start to see all the workers working in time, you know, hammering, doing whatever it is that they're doing, tossing crates to each other. And the lyrics to this song in context and the way that it is written are so powerful. It really, really caught my attention. There's an element of hope to it. There's also an element of resignation. There's an element of, oh my goodness, we're going to be doing this for the rest of our lives. It's fascinating. It's a really, really well-written piece, and I cannot wait to see what The Longest Johns do with it. I think it's going to be really, really interesting. It caught me completely unawares. I knew... Sorry, momentary break. Timmy came down. I thought he was going to come up and say hi, but he came down to let me know in no uncertain terms it was time for food. So that's taken care of. Yeah, I was recommended this by Sally. Thank you very much for the recommendation. But I didn't know where the song came in the game. And I tripped over it far sooner than I was expecting to get there. And it was just one of those things that, as I say, just discovering it in the moment was really, really awesome. And so I'm excited to see what we're going to have here. I don't know much about the Longest Johns. I know it's Andy, Robbie, and JD. And that's not the original lineup, but that's who they are now. I assume that's probably who we're going to get in this video, but I honestly don't know. And I know very little else about them, to be honest, so this is going to be an interesting exploration for me. I do, therefore, want to say welcome to the channel. Welcome back if you have been here before. Welcome if this is your first time. If it is, firstly, welcome to Video Game Month. I'm putting out 2 videos a week this month, and they're all video game themed. And the way this is going to work is I'm going to watch through the video without stopping, but emoting and commenting over the top. Then I'll go back and watch it again from the beginning, and this time I will stop, interrupt, pause, and offer what commentary and analysis I feel I can based on what I've just seen and heard, and also the foreknowledge of having watched it the first time. Please do like the video, hit the subscribe button. There's a notification bell down there to let you choose how often YouTube tells you I'm posting things. And if you'd care to donate to support the channel, you can do so at buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts, where you can donate any amount that you would like as a one-off donation. Patreon.com/DavidKReacts, where you can donate, sort of sign up to my tier of $2 Canadian, which just is an ongoing support for the channel, really. That's all that's there. But it does give you access to my Discord channel. And also there's the option of doing a super thanks down below here on YouTube. It's the $sign with the heart around it. And that's I will get back to those comments as quickly as I can as soon as I know that they're there. None of that is required, but it is greatly appreciated if you would care to do so. And therefore, without further delay, I think that is it. Let us go and jump in to hear the Longest Johns cover of We All Lift Together. Nice, simple instrumentation to start. This is not too dissimilar from the game. Oh, that's great. The use of the bottles, that's great.
Cold, the air and water flowing hard, the land we call our home. Push to keep the dark from coming. Feel the weight of
nice and simple.
This is great. Sons and daughters hide the heart of who we are, making peace to build our future. Strong, united, working till we fall, and we all lift.
This comes later in the game. I like when they're doing this.
Together.
Oh, the harmony! Wow.
Together. Through the cold mist, till we're lifeless, together, together.
That's really cool. Now this time we've got a little bit more build. I like that.
To keep the dark from coming, feel the weight of what we owe. This, the songs of sons and daughters hide the heart of who we are, making peace to build our future. Strong, united, working till we fall. The air and water flowing hard, the land we call our
home. That's nice.
Push to keep the dark from coming. Feel the weight of what we owe. This, the songs of
doing this acoustically. There's electronic music in the game. Doing this acoustically is awesome.
Who we are, making peace to build our future. Strong, united, working till we fall, and we all live.
Oh, the drop back for the harmony. Wow.
together, together, through the cold mist, till we're lifeless, together, together.
Oh, just the voices and the percussion now. That's such a good decision. Oh, that's good. Oh, I like that a lot. Their style obviously fits this extremely well. I think, is there anything else? No. No, okay. What they did with that is very, very effective for the song. There's a couple of things in there I'll explain as we go through where they've changed something either to make it acoustic or because it's not being set to a scene that's happening in front of you. And actually the way that they've achieved that is really, really smart. I like that a lot. Yeah, this is great. Let's jump back to the beginning. I'm going to watch this again and see what I can tease out of it. Nice that we just kind of start straight in here with the sort of full sound of the instrumentation. What's interesting is we play with that a lot. I think there's really cool ways that the instruments drop in and out of this. But you have the plucked bass, and he's plucking fairly hard. Like we're getting a really nice kind of boom from the string. We have the guitar. Is that harmonium in the background? I really, really like the combination that they have going here, and I think it sticks to the vein of the game, but also gives it a slightly different sound, which is really nice. When I first heard this in the game, I couldn't place what it was that made it feel familiar to me, and I realized after the fact it kind of reminded me at the beginning of some of the music from Firefly. And that was that sort of familiarity that I was feeling at the time. It's got that kind of space engineer thing going on with the slightly Western feel. But it pulls out of that and becomes more of a kind of choral piece towards the end, which they do a little bit of here. But I really, really liked that as a beginning. And I think they've achieved that in a folky way here. And I really, really like what they're doing. This is cool. I also love the simplicity. I like that we're seeing the instruments as we go. We see the double bass, we see the banjo, we see the guitar. We don't see anything else yet. We see the snaps, we see the hits on the body of the guitar. And I love that they're kind of doing all of this themselves, because that kind of speaks to what the song is about, is endless work. And the fact that they're doing everything within the confines of their instruments, like the percussion is not, there's no drum kit somewhere. They're not using sound effects. So the hammering and the stuff that they're replicating with the glass bottles here is really people, pushing giant levers and slamming down with sledgehammers and things like that, and it's kind of got an anvil quality going on in the background. You never actually see the anvil, but that's the kind of sound that we're getting there, and they're replicating it really, really well with A, folk props, and B, not fake props. They're not. I think that's really, really good decision on their part. And the fact that we see things piecemeal as we go, we haven't seen the percussion yet. We don't know quite how they're creating it. But we are seeing all the instruments quickly in the beginning, which makes complete sense because they're not moving. This is quite a static video. And so there's no action to pull us in like there is in the game. So they're doing it with pulling in your interest with the different elements that they're choosing to display. Very, very cool. The isolation actually is nice too. Like, we're not seeing anybody in full body or anything like that. We're not even seeing full instruments a lot of the time. Like here, just the neck of the bass and the strings and the finger plucking it, and you can just see the kind of curve of it off to the one side. And it's nice because isolation is a part of how the video starts, but it's also a cool way to introduce a video in general. So I think they actually made a really good decision doing that too. And now we introduce the ooze, which, like, you get that tone coming from the chorus in the game. I can't remember if they're humming or oohing, but regardless, just that. And what's interesting in the game's version is they're not all quite together, and that works really, really well. You could hire a choir and have them absolutely perfectly together all the time, but these are workers. It's meant to be a piece of kind of, the orchestra isn't diegetic, but the singing is. And so it is them singing, and they wouldn't be singing perfectly together. It's very unlikely you would have a crew of workers who also happened to be a chorus. And so the slight differences are there. Now, they're not doing that, of course. They're singing it, together and correctly, which is perfect for this. You wouldn't want them singing apart. But I like the fact that they're still sticking to that same introduction. They're keeping it that you hear the people. It's almost like you hear the people coming, and then you see them once the singing actually starts. It's a nice way to bring everyone into the video. I really like this shot for multiple reasons. One, it's a really cool way of representing this. I was trying to figure out what they were doing, and the fact they're using glass bottles is awesome. Two, I love the fact that this is the most colour we've had in this video so far, really. We've had the instruments themselves, but not a lot of variety. And so the fact that the first shot we have that has like the dark red and then this kind of straw morning sun yellow, and the clear liquid in the bottle, and the tags and things like that. This is a busy shot so far for this video compared to what we've had. And it's a fun way to introduce this element.
The air and water flow.
And then we cut to the beginning of the verse, and it just cuts straight to, I think this is Robbie, if I'm not mistaken. And I love the fact that we cut straight to him just staring down the camera. It's effective doing it like this. I think the fact that a lot of the focus is on him just singing this straight to camera is really cool, even when there's so much going on around. Because what it does is the atmosphere is there, the feeling of lots of people experiencing this is there because of the other singers. But it personalizes it a little bit, and it's drawing us in. It's letting us focus a little more on those lyrics, and the lyrics to this are so good, I think. But I think that this is a really cool way of doing it, and the fact that he's kind of the only thing that's really in focus too, like the lights in the background out of focus, even the sofa he's sitting on, which is very close to him, slightly out of focus. They've kept that depth of field very, very shallow, and it's nice because it draws us into his face. Very, very cool.
Cold, the air and water flowing hard, the land we call our home. Push to keep the dark from coming, feel the weight of what we owe.
And it's interesting because we're getting a variety of shots here. And what I like, obviously you have the shots we've already established.
Dark from coming.
When we actually see, I think this is JD. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's kind of like the most we ever really see of a person in this video is these longer shots, and there's still only a mid shot of him playing the guitar. But I like the fact that we get that. It kind of brings in a slightly different element to the video that is never focused on for too long. We always come back to the close-up of Robbie. And I think that's actually quite effective. I also like that. I wanted to have a quick glance, actually. I realised I didn't look at the information here. Is there any information here? Not really. Bonus video we made due to her having a newfound abundance of free time. Oh, let me guess. This was... Oh, yeah, March 29th, 2020. So this was a very, very early pandemic video. That makes complete sense. Also explains why they have the more, they're isolated. We're only seeing one person. They're all sitting on the same couch, and we're only seeing one person at a time. I think that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, it's cool that we get this slightly further back shot so that we just have a little bit more context. We also see a little bit more of a person. It's not just the head shot. And I think this is... It brings a little bit more character to the video, also brings a little bit more, there is a humanity to the video, I think, to actually see a person. It's an interesting choice when you only ever see neck up. in a video. And I think this works nicely for this one. Oops.
To keep the dark from coming, feel the weight of what we owe. This, the songs of sons and daughters, hide the heart of who we are.
I also like the fact that we do occasionally cut back to JD doing nothing, just sitting there. Again, it involves different... It reminds us there's multiple people involved in this video. And they don't all have to be doing something all the time. And so just the fact that he's just kind of sitting there chilling for a moment. Also slightly reminiscent of Yudiko, who's the character in the game who is sort of overseeing what's going on, who just goes up and sits down and I don't think takes part in the singing. So there's also sort of a slight callback element there as well. But it's cool for this video just on its own right.
Daughters, hide the heart of who we are, making peace to build our future, strong, united, working till we fall.
And what's interesting is we're also getting a little bit of percussion in the bass. Obviously we have the finger snaps, we have tapping the bottles, but if you notice, and you can see it quite clearly here,
strong
a little bit too soon, but you'll notice it's dum 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 dum. That first hit, or the upbeat hit actually, going into the beginning of the new bar, is stunned. The string is silenced so that it can come back on again. And that boom, boom kind of gives us a little element of percussion. It's very, very slight, but just adds a little to the beat of the song.
Making peace to build our future, strong, united, working till we fall.
And I love that we've had the banjo out for a little bit and then we hit this new chord as we go into the sort of chorus element of it, and the banjo comes back in at that moment. It's really, really effective. I love the fact that they've included this. So in the game version of this, it rolls straight back into Cold and starts that verse again. And we hear the whole thing through twice, and then this happens, and there's this wonderful build through it all. And it's a goosebump moment, because it's just kind of building to this hopeful moment at the end. The fact that they're doing this here, it makes it a little bit more of a song with variety in it, because they are changing it up a little bit. I think it's a pretty good decision.
United, working till we fall, and we all lift, and we're all adrift together.
I like how they're keeping the harmony here. It's quite tight. It's not dissonant exactly, but the chords aren't quite what you would expect them to be. They're a little bit murky, and I think that suits really nicely what we're going for with what this song is about. It's got that kind of drone aspect almost, not quite there, but it's sort of dirgy. It's not entirely upbeat, and I think that speaks to the sort of slightly what's the word I used earlier? The resignation side of this song, in that sort of slightly dirgy quality of the harmony, even as they're singing "We all live together and we're all adrift together. We're in this together. We're not alone." And so there's a hopeful thing in that, and so the contrast between the two is kind of cool.
And we're all adrift together. Together through the cold mist till we're lifeless. Together, together.
I love that they're keeping this quite restrained. Like this gets quite big towards the end of the song, but they're keeping it very, very restrained. The guitar's being strummed fractionally harder, but only fractionally. The banjo is just being very gently plucked. There's no kind of... They're not going crazy with this one. They're keeping it restrained. Very, very good move, I think. It keeps that emotion boiling under the surface a little. Love it. Oh, I love the quality of his voice.
Lifeless together.
That together, he creaks into it a little bit at the end there, and it's nice. It kind of gives that sense of, not, there's hope, but it's not all hope. I really, really like how he sang that. That was really cool.
Lifeless together.
And he has, to be fair, that is that line, you know, we're going to work here until we're all lifeless together. That's the resignation part that when it really, really hits in. And so, again, a great line to kind of fall off like that.
Together.
And now we continue this build, and this time we've brought the humming back in underneath the instrumental straight away. So we're coming in at kind of phase 2 of what we had earlier. And I really, really like that because it's just kind of, it keeps the momentum up. We haven't dropped all the way back to the beginning. We're going back some of the way, but not all of the way. And so now we're taking off into the next verse slightly further along than we were before. Really nice. So this time we're getting a little bit more in the verse as well. That humming is sticking around. I like the fact that this time when we go to JD playing the guitar, we hang on him a little bit longer than we did the last time. Just a little bit more present on screen. There's a bit more of a togetherness this time around, which is really, really nice.
Water flowing hard, the land we call our home. Push to keep the dark from coming. Feel the weight of what we owe. This, the songs of sons and daughters.
And having, obviously there's a lot of doubling going on here because you have multiple singers singing the which is exactly the same as the melody that Robbie is singing, which is also being played faintly in the banjo in the background as well. And just its presence in the back there is also really cool. It just adds a little bit of extra texture to the sound that we're hearing right now.
This, the songs of sons and daughters hide the heart of who we are, making peace to build our future, strong, united, working till we fall, the air and water flowing.
And this time we do what the song does. We go back to the beginning of the verse straight away, sing fall, the air and water flowing straight back in again. Sorry, I said it went back to cold earlier. It goes back to the cold line. But I love this introduction of the bowed double bass. It ups something in the song so easily with what is already in the song. We're not introducing a new element here. The double bass existed. All we're doing is adding a bow. It's so simple, but doesn't it just up the tension in this so much? Really good.
Working till we fall, the air and water flowing hard, the land we call our home. Push to keep the dark from coming. Feel the weight of what we owe.
I love that too on Feel the Weight. Down the bottom there. It suddenly becomes like it's never ponderous. It never gets that slow, but it's really at this point in time, you know, it's got a dragging feel. You could imagine people kind of trudging home at the end of the day, kind of forcing their muscles to behave and get them home. And that weight is in this song now.
Dark from coming, feel the weight of what we owe. This, the songs of sons and daughters.
And now we've also added this, the songs of sons and daughters, underneath as well, coming through. And that's really, it's becoming ominous almost. It's not an ominous song, but that's how the feel they've brought into it is, it's just, you know, this chromatically climbing bass there at the beginning, the addition of the lower voice. Wow.
This, the songs of sons and daughters hide the heart of who we are, making peace to build our future, strong, united, working till we fall.
And there again, that ba, the major seventh. Oh, excuse me. The major seventh from the bass coming into that, giving us this heightening of tension. It's going to resolve, and then it doesn't. Not only that, the bass backs off completely.
Strong, united, working till we fall, and we all live.
That is so powerful. I can't even tell if there's a plucked note there. It's possible they go straight back into pluck bass. It's also possible they ignore that first note and the bass comes back in gently on the second bar. That is such a powerful change. And it goes from the ominous trudge of the day, switching back into that hopeful thing, and the chord is just a little bit brighter. We've lost all that bass that was dragging this song down. Really, really nice arrangement here.
We fall and we all lift, and we're all adrift together. Through the cold mist, till we're lifeless together.
And all the way through all of this, these bottles have been tapping away. And it's just kept this consistent feeling that there is always something happening. Really, really effective use here.
Together.
I love the choice at the end here to just go back. The bottles never stop, but all the other instrumentation pulls away, and now all we have is voices, snaps, and the tapping of the bottles. Such a simple ending, but my goodness, isn't that effective? And quite an abrupt end, too. I love the fact that they've done that. It kind of, the music fades away almost as the character drops into the scene. And there's whistling, which is the one element that's in the game that isn't here. Well, it's a couple of elements, actually. But the most obvious one is it starts out with... Ooh, mouth's dry. And then goes back to the whistling at the end. The fact that they just stop it, of course, ends the song nicely, which is great. The other thing that's not in this is there's a sci-fi sort of electronic element that comes in, which is this it's sort of 6 quite rapid 6 they'd probably be 8th notes, I guess, descending on like a synthesized sound, so it becomes a little bit more electronic towards the end, which kind of suits the vibe of the world as well. And they didn't include that, and I think that's the right decision. It would have been easy to try and replicate it somehow, and I think it would have made the arrangement too busy. There's something about the simplicity of this that works really, really well. This is great. I realized one thing I didn't talk about was the blending of the voices too. You have such a clear definition. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Like you can really hear the voices at work here. The way it's been blended in the arrangement and then subsequently mixed. It's really nice. It's giving us this kind of feeling. You know at all times that there are multiple voices singing, if there are, unless it's just Robbie. And I think it's really, really well put together. The sound in this is superb. I really think that whoever mixed this did a spectacular job, because every element of it is always audible. There's nothing ever being hidden away, but at the same time, it's having a really, really nice mix that feels like things only stand out when they're supposed to. Great job, great job. And that fine, oh yeah, oops. And there's no glass. This is the only time since the beginning of the song, I think, that the glass bottle is not struck on one of the beats it is traditionally struck on. That's really, really effective. Well done. Well done. That's a great arrangement. I really, really enjoyed that. And I think that did justice to what We All Live Together is, in the sense that there's some honouring of the original there, but it's also definitely their version of it. But do check out the original too. It's super cool. Super cool. And you'll see it if you check out the link that I've linked below. It actually has, it shows the video that plays when you actually get to that point in the game. And it's just really, really cool. And it's short. So yeah, do have a look. That's that for me for this week. I hope that you enjoyed that. I hope I managed to bring something to you with this video, be it the song itself, the Longest Johns, some perspective on it if you knew the song already, something you hadn't seen before. Or, as I'm hoping to do a little bit this month, just propagating the idea that video game music can be really cool. So yeah, that's the goal. If I've done any one of those things, then that's great. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. Please do like the video, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. And if you'd care to donate to support, please head over to buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts, patreon.com/DavidKReacts, or you can leave a super thanks here on YouTube. Thank you so much. I hope that you have an absolutely wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, nighttime, 1:17 a.m., whatever time it happens to be for you right now. Look after yourselves, take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.